Hey guys, I just want to give you a quick overview of my coding routine since one of the guys in the comments asked for it. So this is for you, bro. Um, Basically, I don't really have a coding routine. I just started doing this, like just for context. I have this coding book, and I barely started reading it, and I bought this like over a year ago. So I just started to read this. Like this today, like I picked it up and I really want to read it. So I actually started to understand it and learn intentionally, and that's due to a shift in myself. And so, just so you know, um, the reason I'm flowing so easily with coding and I'm learning so fast is because I'm not doing it as a means to an end. I'm not doing this so that I can get something out of it. I'm not doing it so I can create a product that I can sell to people. For example, I'm doing it because I genuinely want to see how it can help me grow as an individual, and it's more about the process of enjoying the learning experience and connecting the dots, which for me is very rewarding. So that's just the context, so you can understand kind of where I'm coming from. But if we look at my computer here, I use ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is basically teaching me how to code. Um, and so if this was actually the first one, this is where it all started. So basically, I've been using ChatGPT as kind of like my assistant for coding, not for coding, for day trading. And so I would send it like screenshots, and it would give me some, an analysis, and then I'll cross-reference that with my own interpretation, and that would be helpful, so we can see here, we have heavy liquidity stacked at these levels. Sell bubble is large, so it's aggressive sellers. It looks like we might enter absorption, or aggression can override that. So and then I'm actually beginning to kind of create my own setup and document like my process so that I can verify and identify the trades that are really for me. So, that's for context. And for some reason, I don't know what happened, but I was like, it would be awesome if I could submit my videos. And I've already thought about this, but I record my videos, my day trading videos, like my sessions, I record them. So, if we go to videos, and then we go to it's pictures, trading sessions. So I have all my sessions here. So I record my sessions, and so you can hear me talking while I'm doing this. And what I want to do is be able to have AI basically journal my session for me, because right now I'm just saving the sessions in my Notion, but I'm not really putting any notes, and I'm not really actively tracking my progress. Mainly due to time, because I have a part-time job. I'm working I think like 30 hours a week, like a little bit under, and so I wake up and I head over to work. So I'm just able to basically record the session and then submit it in there and put it on Notion. But I only walk away with like 2 or 3 points that I remember for the next day. But what I want to do is be able to create a system that I can be able to reference and reflect on, so I can hone in more precisely on what trades I want to enter. So that's the motivation, and I think that's the most important thing. Like, I would recommend that you have a project that you're already passionate about, and you find yourself kind of repeating tasks over and over. Right now, we live in an age where you can basically create your own software. Um, you can basically um, create like a copy of another software like Adobe, or anything really. If you're for example, me, if I'm a video editor and I find myself doing repetitive tasks, then maybe I can find a way to have AI come in, or code some software that will allow me to just submit podcast editing, enter all of these steps and do that. And that'd be cool. So, if you have that, then you can begin to ask, just ask ChatGPT, would it be possible for me to create a folder, not a folder, a software that will allow me to edit in a way that, actually, I'm going to do this in real time. Okay. So I'm going to use my mic here and speak that into the thing, create a new, okay. think it's Alt H. Option H. Is it possible for me to create some kind of software where, hold on. Is it possible for me to create some kind of software that basically runs the sequences of events that I already do as a video editor? For example, when I'm editing a podcast, what I need to do is create, the multi-camera scenes, run Autopod. I need to fix the audio, color correction, etc., etc. Is there a software that would allow me to do that, where I could just click, "Hey, I'm editing a podcast. Can you set up the video so I can, get over the first 5 steps of the process"? Would that be possible? So now that that's there, so you can see what it tells me. So yes, you can totally create or set up a software to automate those repetitive video editing tasks. What you're describing sounds like a custom workflow automation tool for video editing, and that's, that sounds great. And it's very possible, especially with the way modern software works together via scripts, plugins, and APIs. And I'm familiar with these things, somewhat familiar. Hey, I'm editing a podcast. When automatically does syncs audio, runs Autopod, applies color correction, preps timelines, maybe even sets up export settings. Awesome. So then it offers you possible options. For me, because I'm learning to code, I would go for external app with Python, most likely. I'm not familiar with this. I'll be curious to look into this. I'd want to know what is HTML/JS JavaScript. I think that's another coding language. And then, or you can run an external app. I think I'd want to go within Premiere. I might actually go for this one, just because I'm curious about how Premiere works and how I can manipulate it. And then there's other things like frame.io plus API plus custom scripts. So I would say, run me through option 1. Walk me through option 1. Walk me through option 1, please. Okay, and I'm pressing option H, or home tab H for that mic. So it's getting the goal step by step. And so basically what I would do to learn to code, I would just follow this, and I'd have to iterate through this. And in this process, there's all about, and so there's a basic thing, right? If you want to do this at home and you're really interested in this, first off, make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, meaning that you're already passionate about something and you just want to make sure, and you just want to involve coding. I think this is the best way. You pair your passion with something you're learning, and then you expand, multiply both areas. So you multiply your passion because you're looking to scale it, and you're interpreting through a new lens, and then you're also expanding your learning because now you're pairing that with something you're passionate about already, so you're able to then proceed and do it without a lot of resistance. So yeah, and so my process has been just doing that and then iterating, right? So just running it through. If I find an error, I'm also understanding that I'm learning how to use ChatGPT with coding. So I'm really trying to stay within ChatGPT to see if it can help me, but I'm finding that there are some things that it doesn't really help me with a lot of the time. So then I'll go to YouTube. It's really about problem solving, learning how to problem solve, right? And then sometimes I'll get the inspiration to learn more. So I'll look into videos on coding, like, so I can learn the language. What exactly is an agent? What is AI? What should I be looking into? Not because I want external guidance. It's more so I get information that will allow me to hone in on my internal guidance. Okay, because a lot of times once you start consuming content, you get told, like, you shouldn't do this, you should do this, check this out, and then you just get lost in the sauce right there. The point is, you should be more interested on your own projects than you are interested in what in the content that you're consuming. Okay, because at the end of the day, the thing that is going to help you grow is you engaging with the project itself, than you trying to consume as much content as possible. For example, me, like, this book is gonna be solid now because I have a reason to actually use it. So as I'm learning, and I'm reading the scripts that are being created and generated, I can use this to help me explain and understand what's going on. So that way AI isn't just, so, like, I'm learning to code too. So, ideally I want to be able to create my own scripts on my own, um, and then and read the scripts that are being generated by AI so that I can catch any mistakes as time passes, and also so I can problem solve faster. So I'm basically, if you think about it, with the addition of passion plus project, or passion plus learning, emphasis on problem solving, releasing external guidance, and then honing in on my internal process. By doing all of that, I'm basically putting myself in a vacuum where I can just speed up my learning like tenfold, because I'm very connected with the process. So, um, yeah, that's what I would say in terms of, yeah, that's it. That's what I have so far. So I think this video is really kind of, it's for people who, if you're interested in coding, then that's great. I think this is gonna help you. But it's also, if you're interested just in learning overall, this is a process that I go through, and you know um, I learn intuitively now, so I don't think about the process of step one, step two, step three. I go with the flow, or I go with my emotions. I go with what my heart is telling me. So, if, for example, I woke up literally like two nights ago at 12 a.m. and I was just getting ideas for like what I wanted to do. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do that. Got on my computer, went back to sleep around 5:30. So I didn't sleep, but I wasn't really tired of that in that yesterday, um, and I learned a lot, and I felt really good about what I did. And then um, and I didn't feel like, and like, I didn't force myself to do more work the next day. I let it come to me, and so then what happened was, I did code a little bit more the next day, but I also recorded a video. But today I woke up and I thought about this book, and I saw it in my mind as like, this book is gold. It's like, I need to read this. It literally was highlighted in gold. Like, there was like a um, phosphorescent light around it, and I saw myself sitting down and just reading scripts, like constantly reading scripts, constantly reading the code, and being able to understand what was going on. And so with that image in my head, now I'm gonna go and definitely get more value out of this book, because I'm understanding what it's gonna bring me. Um, and so I'm interpreting the information in that way too. And I'm not just, it's not like, oh, I'm reading a book. It's, no, I'm engaged in my process, and that includes reading a book, but it's not constrained by that. Okay, so yeah, that's just a piece, of my approach, intuitive learning with coding. Hopefully that was helpful. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Stay lucid. Peace.